And welcome back, guys, to the final round. Today we have the big boxing weekend review show number 2. Tons of boxing that went on this weekend. 3 massive cards. One was a pretty big European regional card. The other was a massive fight in Japan. The other, one of the biggest fights we've had in the last 5-10 years. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so first up, we had a solid card in Belfast, Northern Ireland under Matchroom Sports, Matchroom Boxing. It was the rematch, the highly anticipated all-Irish world title fight, the rematch between Paddy Donovan and Lewis Crocker. Sorry, I had to say it in a British accent. Lewis Crocker and Paddy Donovan, number 2. Yeah, it was a good card. Started off with, typical guys getting beat. Jim Donovan winning his debut, Kyle Swift debut. Donald Keary, a 3-0 fighter, got upset by a guy who was 2-7-2. So, the former UFC women's fighter Molly McCann making her debut at 121 pounds, defeating Kate Radomska by by 5th round TKO. Her current what's it called? Radomska's corner threw in the towel for her after round, or in the middle of round 5. So big win for Molly McCann. She's now 1-0 as a professional boxer. She's 35, and honestly, you could say that's too old to start in women's boxing, but Holly Holm is now back in women's boxing, over 40, and she's still winning big fights. I think Molly McCann is going to get fast track to women's title. I'm not saying she'd win it, but she could be. She with Eddie Hearn, she could make some good money. I wouldn't be surprised if Molly McCann fights. I wouldn't be shocked if she fights. I wouldn't be shocked if she fights Alicia Baumgartner in the next 4 years. I'm just saying, if she gets 6-0, I wouldn't be surprised if she's fighting Alicia Baumgartner in a massive fight. I wouldn't be shocked. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, man. And the next, Mr. Aaron Bowen had a good TKO win over Carlos Miguel Oroner. Knocked him down twice in the second round, finishing him there. Pat Brown, pretty solid cruiserweight fighter, defeating the 12-5 Mostin Namdi. Defeated him by second round TKO. He was counted out by referee Hugh Russell Jr. And then Rodwin Farrell, 7-1-1, got defeated by Matthew Borland after the 6th round. Farrell went down in the 6th round, and his corner called it after the fight. That was for the Irish bantamweight title, which now belongs to Matthew Borland. Good for him. He moves to 6-0. Good for him, man. BoxRec is sorting the bed here. Trying to get to the. I honestly can't say these guys' names. Never mind. That's the next fight. Tyrone McKenna defeated the Dylan Moran in the rematch. The first rematch, McKenna won. He won again. Moran was down once in the 7th, and the fight was over. McKenna moves to 25-6-1 at the 154-pound division. McKenna has losses to, I believe, Crocker and Donovan, actually, I'm pretty sure. And then we had a fight at 154 as well. Kalman, I can't say the guy's name, but some Irish name. Magarko. He was 17-0. He took on former Canelo level guy Ishmael Davis, 13-2. Magarko won the fight by split decision. I've looked online. People are kind of not really sure how they figure this fight looking. People say that Magarko clearly won. People said that Ishmael Davis kind of got robbed. The cards were split. Magarko was down in the 12th. That definitely affected the cards. One judge had it 114-113 for Agarko, or I think it's pronounced Agarko, but Agarko, whatever. One judge had it, Judge Howard Foster, longtime great British ref. He had it 115-112 for Davis. and Gregor's Melenda. He had it 114, 113 for the Aguarco. I think it's Aguarco. Aguarco for Callum Aguarco. And yeah, so even with the knockdown, I think he'd still win 151. He still would have had a split decision. Howard Foster's card would have been 151-13. But still, close fight. Orker moves to 18-0. And then the main event for the IBF welterweight title, which was recently vacated by Jaron Boots Ennis, going up to fight for the IBO junior middleweight title against Musima Lima very soon. I think sometime in October. As I mentioned, big anticipated rematch. Their first fight, and Paddy Donovan being disqualified after hitting Crocker after the bell. I think in round 8 of the first fight, and controversy spawned. This fight, people said before this fight, even though Paddy got disqualified, he was dominating Crocker. Man, I gotta give credit to Billy Nelson and Lewis Crocker. I gotta give credit to Billy Nelson that Crocker took this fight a lot more seriously. I'm not saying that not saying apparently I have the different I realize this picture of him is not the picture that he won. That's a different fight. I'm gonna get rid of that. That's gonna be right back, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. This one right here, that's the picture of after he won his fight by split decision. It was a good fight. Fight was pretty close. Donovan was down in the third and in the fifth. Lewis Crocker fought a very, very smart fight. Used distance, used good, used really good boxing, and I don't think there was the split decision. It's interesting because with the knockdowns, I mean, I'm looking at the cards. Two judges scored it 114, 112, 114, 113, 150, 111 for Crocker. If you take the 2 points away, Reese Carter still has it a win for Crocker. Powell, the Cardini would have it a draw 140, 114, and Matteo Montanello would have had it 115, 114. Or no, yeah, sorry. He would have had it, I believe, 116, 113, which is a weird card to have. He would have had it 116, 113. Or, sorry, Powell. No, yeah, he would have had it. Oh, I'm sorry. Reese Carter scored it. I'm getting these cards confused. Reese Carter would have had it 115, 113 for, still for Paddy Donovan. Or still for Lewis. She scored a 150, 111 for, I believe, for Paddy Donovan. If you give him the 3 points, she has it 117, 111, which actually, that's ridiculous. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Someone keeps calling me. Probably my parents. Annoying. Jesus Christ. My dad trying to talk to me about the damn Patriots game. Great game, by the way. To attack of Miami Dale, I'm telling you, he's getting fired. So it was a interesting fight. I wasn't watching it live. I did watch the highlights. If you take the 2 knockdowns away from Paddy, or that occurred to Paddy Donovan, the judges would have had it. Powell would have had it draw. Matteo Montanello would have probably had it 150, 114 for Donovan. And so I think in that case, Donovan actually would have won by the split decision if he didn't have the knockdowns. But I think Crocker still fought well. I still thought, watching the highlights, I think he won, but it was a close fight. And Lewis Crocker is your new welterweight, champion for the IBF belt, and he is the new IBF welterweight champion. There you go. Good for him, man. And overall, good event for the for the All Irish title fight in Belfast, and I think it was another solid event for Eddie Hearn and the boys at Matchroom. Okay, so we're back. Now let's go over the fights in Japan. We had Inoue versus the Murajadan Akhmadaliev. Oh, I'm going to turn the lights on. It's getting too dark. All right, guys, apologize about the the new light switch. I realized, why am I recording in the dark? I'm not a vampire. So overall, pretty good event in Japan. You had some good solid fights on there. Obviously, anyway, as I'll mention in a second, completely defending his undisputed, unified, undefeated super bantamweight championship of the world against former WBA IBF super bantamweight champion Merjan. I can't say his last name. I'm going to try to say it. Marajan the Makhmaliev. The Makhmaliev. There we go. Marajan Akhmadaliev. God, I can't say the guy's name. I like him. That's what sucks. No, it is. Okay, I'm gonna say it. It is Merjan the Akhmadaliev. Merjan. Anyway, defeating Murajan Akhmadaliev. There we go. So, Jesus Christ, my damn stutter sometimes, guys. Jesus Christ. Overall, good performances. You had some good fights on the undercard. You had Doshiki Simonacci advancing to 22, 1-3. He took on Han Soli, a good, good easy fight for him. Even though he, hasn't suffered a loss in a number of years, he has been kind of meh in terms of his fights he's been having most of his career, but still a good. So he's only 28, but really has not proven much at super bantamweight yet. And then he had Shunpai Mohada defeating Igo by TKO. And you had for the lightweight title, you had Taiga Mimanaga defeating Yudai Murakami for the by decision for the Japan boxing and Japanese lightweight title. And then he had Marusei Matsumoto at strawweight defeating Yuni Takada for the strawweight title, or in the strawweight division, by technical decision. I heard there's some interesting things there. And then for the WBO World Bantamweight title held by Yoshiki Take, he was defeated by Christian Medina Jimenez by fourth round TKO. Big shocker there. I saw that, and I see on my phone, I have forgot the name of the site. It's a Japanese sport website. I got it just to look at all the Inoue news, because you don't really hear a lot of the news. You have to go to like the boxing forums, and a lot of those American boxing forums I don't love, and the British boxing forums, even though Inoue has fought in some Brits, they really don't talk about when he's talked about fighting Brits, which is okay. I get it. But really important, I just see Yoshiki Take knocked down in the fourth round. I'm like, that's the guy fighting before anyway. I mean, it was a massive, massive upset. I mean, considering that Jimenez, he has a loss to Murasuke Nishida. Oh, no, bunch of kids yelling outside. Jesus. Who just lost to who just got destroyed by Junto Nakatani way back in June. He quit after the 6th round of that fight. But really, Nishida's a good fighter. Fought for a world title recently. People thought, I don't know what's going on. Torres, he fought him, beat him, but really he hasn't been. He really hasn't fought anybody great. He fought Molestus Molina Aguirre, who was a good solid prospect, but he's okay. And it was Christian Medina Jimenez was 25-4. He's a young guy. He's 25 years old, but people didn't think he was going to win the title. And he was a big up. And Yoshiki Take, good solid fighter, 29, 11-0. When he won the title, he beat a good solid guy, Jason Maloney, who is, even though he's not champion now, he's a good fighter. He's 27-4. He hasn't he hasn't won a fight since being Sal Sanchez defending his WBO bantamweight title, and he has a loss to Inoue at bantamweight. Lost beat guys like Joshua Greer, good fighters. And it's just so interesting. He's a good solid guy. And then you go to, and then after that he beat the Daigo Higa, who's okay, and then Mito Tongdi, who's yeah. But still, you thought that Medina wasn't going to have any chance, and Medina went in there and beat the crap out of him. Finished him in 4 rounds. I mean, pretty impressive stuff. Pretty big upset for Christian Medina Jimenez, who now becomes the he's now the WBO World Bantamweight Champion, a title previously held by um, a title previously held by I'm trying to go to the bantamweight division here, but uh, hold on, guys. I love BoxRec. It's great, but man, sometimes it pisses me off. I just want to look at the damn card, but stop being stupid. No, okay. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Bantamweight. Where's bantamweight? There we go. Bantamweight. Here we go. Okay, got it. No, here we go. Okay. So, big win for Christian Jimenez. And considering that Judo Nakatani is talking heavily about going up to 122, obviously he has the IBF and WBC title, the two titles that he has WBC and IBF, the two other titles that Inoue once had at bantamweight. Obviously the WBA I think is still vacant. The IBO is still vacant, but whatever, belts. But Christian Jimenez, I mean, there was a lot of talk with Nakatani that if Yoshitaka was able to win this fight, that he would fight Nakatani, and the winner would go up and fight anyway. And on this kind of like three-way, Japanese world title, series thing. And Christian Jimenez just go, no, thank you. And I mean, he probably won't fight Nakatani. He probably won't. But I mean, that would be crazy. If I've watched some of Nakatani's fights. He's really good. He isn't anyway though. He's a good fighter. He's got the same record, but I don't think he's as good. But still, I mean, awesome. And also, Jesse Rodriguez, he's taking on, I think he's taking on. If I'm correct. He's taking on. He's taking on. He's taking on Fernando Daniel Martinez, and he has talked about, just to be Rodriguez, he has talked about that he obviously wants to fight. He also wants to fight Garcia Perez. He wants to fight him. And then after he fights Garcia Perez, he wants to go up to bantamweight. So we'll see. But a massive win for Christian Medina Jimenez, and he's now the WO bantamweight champion. And in the main event, Inoue defeating Mirajan Akhmadaliev. Mirajan Akhmadaliev defeated him by unanimous decision. It was a good fight. See right here. Anyway, really, Akhmadaliev talks about all his powerful Uzbek power, and he has good power. He's not a one punch guy, but he's a short, compact. He is a short, compact power puncher. He moves in, he throws power strikes, he moves, he throws hooks, uppercuts, goes to the body, and at times in this fight was sort of close. I thought Inoue won this easily at round 6 and 7. Akhmadaliev had some moments in round 12. He sort of kind of rocked Inoue towards the end of the round, but Inoue was obviously able to survive, and he advances to 31-0, 27 knockouts. Obviously, it wasn't a knockout, but you know what I mean. Massive win for Inoue. He remains the undefeated, undisputed, unified super bantamweight champion of the world. Holds pretty much all the belts. Actually, I want to just check. Does he have all the belts, or am I incorrect on this? Yeah, he has. He doesn't have the IBO. That's Shabazz Massoud, who's 14. Who's a 14-0 Brit. just defeated Liam Davies last year to win, or I think Liam Davies had the title if I'm correct. Yeah, he did. He did. He did have it. Um, Matt Mood's not going to fight, Matt Mood's not going to fight anyway. He's not going to do that. So anyway, has to either consider, do I consider going, because he has this is his first, I think it's his first overall defense of the title. Is he won? No, it's just, oh wow, okay, right. So he fully unified it. I'm an idiot. He fully unified it when, oh yeah, so he beat Paul Butler, goes up, fights Stephen Fulton, in a really exciting fight. Beats him for a knockout. Beats Paulus for the IBF title. Um, and then he defeats Lewis Neri, suffers a knockdown, but comes back and wins the fight. Beats Yuji Dohene, Yu Kim, so this is like his fifth defense of the unified title. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. His fifth defense of his unified title. And this was supposed to be one of his toughest fights. Akhmadaliev has lost to Paulus, which was a very close fight. And anyway, pretty much blew him out of the water, pretty much. I'm talking about the Paules. And people thought that if Akhmadaliev has been calling out anyway for at least 2 years now since he got back on the win after losing his title. And he got what he wanted. He went to Japan. He fought anyway as best he could, and he did pretty well. And I'm interested to see where Akhmadaliev goes from here. I think his best bet is to wait until Inoue either fights Nakatani, which there's rumors that Inoue might even go back down like at a catch weight of 120, which I don't know why Nakatani would make him do that. I think it would hurt Nakatani. I don't know why go up and fight Inoue at 122. He struggles to make 118 himself. So that probably won't happen, but maybe just wait until the belts splinter and then fight for a couple of vacants, because I'm sure you can get a vacant. And if you're at Akhmadaliev, you go fight Shabazz, Masood. Obviously in recent years the IBO title has separated because the IBO used to be technically the Ring magazine, but now no one even cares about, and now everyone kind of disregards the IBO and just looks at the ring, which is smart. Obviously, anyway, is also the ring champion as well, which I will agree is the only world title that I really consider to be like a true legitimate historical title. Sanctioning bodies are sanctioning bodies, and they do, and really sanctioning bodies at this point. I'll go into this, I'm sure, later this week about boxing. Sanctioning body, titles are really just to get undisputed status, and yeah, whatever. I'll talk about it later. But great win for Inoue. Anyway, he remains undefeated, 31-0, 27 knockouts, 32 years old, in his prime. I think it's a good argument that he's the best fighter on planet Earth today. But, whatever. I love the guy. The monster is amazing. I love the monster. He's awesome. So, yeah, that is that event. Moving on to Canelo versus Crawford and the whole shabacle. Oh, all right, so let's move to Canelo versus Crawford. I put up this fight because I want to talk about this fight first before I get to the rest of the card. But overall, I have to say, as a boxing card goes, it was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. Sultan Al-Muhammad defeating Martin Calabaro by decision. Boo. Marco Verde come 3-0 over his win over Sona Makali, which honestly I thought was a terrible stoppage. Akali was down in round 1. In round 4, he got wobbled a little bit, and the ref thought that was a terrible stoppage. Miro Tsutsumi defeating Javier Martinez by first round knockout. That was kind of an early stoppage too, but whatever. Muhammad Al-Khalil, clearly a big, being mentored to bankroll by Sheikh Turkey, trained by Abel Sanchez, defeated the American Travis Kent Crawford by unanimous decision. I thought the fight was actually closer. I thought the fight was closer than 99-91 to give only one round to Travis. I thought that was ridiculous, but welcome to boxing. Welcome to boxing, man. So yeah, and then thank God for judging in this fight, because Kazakhstan former Olympian, Ivan Dechko 15-0, 14 knockouts. Took on the American Jermaine Franklin Jr., a good heavyweight who I like. It was a typical Eastern European boxing fight. Jab, jab, hold, move, hold, hold. He held the whole fight. Franklin was trying to land inside. He was accepting the clinch way too much early. He tried to get off it and move good shots, and he in my opinion he did land the more effective shots. I think every time Adechko threw, every time he was in there and he threw his 1-2. Every time he moved it, he threw his 1-2. Every time he would move, or he would get after holding, he would go 1-2, and then wait a minute, and then go 1-2, and then wait a minute, and then hold for 10 minutes, and then go 1-2, 2, 2, 1-2, and that was pretty much it. And Franklin tried better, and after the decision, after the fight, I'm thinking, all right, Franklin lost, even though Letchko got deducted 1 point for holding, which I thought would help, but I still didn't think that. I still didn't think that Franklin was going to win. And then they get to the cards. Kermit Bayless had it 96-93 for Franklin. Chris Mulore had it 95-94. And Don Shaw had it 97-92, which means without the point taken away, it would have been a majority decision because Chris Mulore would have had it 95-95. But I don't care. Like, the two judges who had it scored for Franklin clearly don't appreciate someone holding the whole fight. And I thought that was, I'm sure that everyone at Daichko's camp and true boxing scoring purists will go, well, Daichko won the fight. He controlled more action. He got hit less. He landed probably more. He won the statistical battle. He dominated the center, but he just held the whole fight, really. I'm glad the judges gave it to Franklin because even though I thought Daichko won, I only thought because he held the whole fight. And even though holding sucks, it's not in your scoring. It should be in the scoring. Maybe it is, but from what I know about boxing, holding is not against the rules unless you're doing it too much, which he did. He got a point taken away. So I'm glad the judges go, nah, holding guy, who cares? He sucks. Franklin moves to 24-2. Good for him, man. And then Steven Nelson got blown out by Marco Santana. He got finished in the first round. Santana moves to 13-4. Nelson moves to 20-2. Nelson's 37 years old. The guy, he was for a number of years. He was this guy who was supposed to be a good fighter at 168, and he never fought anybody good. I mean, he never fought anybody of any real note. He has a pretty good win against Marcos Vasquez Rodriguez, who's a decent Mexican fighter. And then he got beat pretty badly by Diego Pacheco, who's a good solid fighter. And then Santana just knocked him out. That was crazy. That also isn't any good, but Santana himself, good Cuban fighter, is 32, but really wasn't supposed to win this fight and came in there and beat the crap out of him. But he has had some better opponents, in my opinion, Joseph George, among other guys. And then we get to Sergey Bohachuk versus Brandon Adams. That was a fight that really should have been on the main card. Because it was a good fucking fight. Brandon Adams, to all fans who've watched PBC boxing, will remember him, or Showtime boxing, remember him from fighting Jamal Charlo and pretty much just running and holding the entire fight. And I think because Adams realized he wasn't going to win that fight from this jump, and said, I'll just run and make it funny. But Adams, so Bohachuk just, was coming out recently. His loss to Virgil Ortiz, which was a good, close fight. His other loss came in the 8th round to Brandon Adams in, I think, 2020 or 2021 or something like that. Adams was losing that fight, but he still won the fight by knockout. And this fight was a brawl. I mean, Bohachuk and Adams, we had UFC Noche on, me and Isaiah, for our stream. If you guys watched it, great. And we had the fights on a smaller TV to the side on the ground. And I was watching Adams and Bohachuk. I kept saying, in the stream, this is a good fight right here. This is a good fight. Hey, Adams is good. And then by round 8 and 9, I just saw Adams and them hit. I'm like, holy shit, they're going to freaking war right now. Hell of a fight. It wasn't the best fight of the night because of this fight. I'll get to that in a second. But it was a great fight. And Brandon Adams won by an unanimous decision. Man, good for him, dude. Him freaking wearing the wig all week and shit. I mean, dude, I gotta be honest. I like Brandon Adams. He isn't the Brandon Cannon Adams. He isn't the greatest guy. I mean, very early in his career, he fought Willie Monroe Jr., who you know he's got his own issues. Um, but he did fight. He did fight a number of what's it called? In 2014 when he was young, he fought Willie Monroe Jr. in his first loss, but he gave a good account of himself in that fight. He then had some good wins. They lost to Apollo Thompson by second round knockout, which he had finished career 19-5. It was a bad knockout. Thompson was down in round one. Adams was down round two and got finished, and it was unfortunate for him, really. It was a slugfest, but it was unfortunate he lost that fight. It was 2015. That was a decade ago when he was 26. He came back and won some other fights. Dominated Shane Mosley Jr. in 2018, which was a really good fight, I thought, actually. And then he had the fight in which really was supposed to be Shane Mosley Jr. versus Jamal Charlo. Obviously, Shane Mosley Jr. is taking on Jesus Alejandro Ramos Jr. In October for the WBC interim world middle title, which who cares? But he fought Charlo, and he literally just ran the entire fight. And this was for his first chance at a world title. He fought for the WBC world title. There, coming to the fight, I think he was. What was he in the fight? 20 something and 2? Yeah, no, he was 21 and 2, and he wasn't supposed to beat Charlo. I mean, they were the same age. He decided to just run. He just ran the whole fight, and it just sucks. It was kind of an embarrassing loss for Brandon Adams. And he came back in some other fights, and then 2021 is when he defeated Sergey Bohachuk in I think it was in Cuba or Puerto Rico or Cuba, wherever it was. It's funny. Adams lost the point for low blows in round 3, but still won the fight in round 8. So. And then a couple other wins. Lost to Andreas Katsorkias. I'm a pretty good, solid Greek fighter who isn't going to fight anybody good, to be honest with ourselves here. But coming off that loss, which he suffered last year, he gets in there against Bohachuk, and on the stage, he performed. Brandon Adams performed, man. I got to give the guy a lot of credit. He was 26-4. Good for him, man. And then we head to the main card. Obviously, that's when you had Muhammad Al-Khel taking on Travis Crawford. That fight just shouldn't have been on the main card. They did it because they wanted Muhammad Al-Khel to get some exposure. Turkey's guy, we get it. Abel Sanchez training him, we get it. Move on. And then we had this fight, Christian Mbilli, 29-0, the WBC. He's the interim WBC middleweight champion, taking on Bud Crawford's teammate, the Guatemalan Lester Martinez. This was a fucking great fight. It was a war. This was the best fight of the night by far. Even though Brandon Adams and Bohachuk was good, there were times where there was a little holding. This fight was Mbilli and Martinez standing and swinging, and Mbilli does his not as Mike. It's not as Mike Tyson, but I'm wearing Mike Tyson shirt right now, by the way. Mike Tyson, people called him the French Mike Tyson, French Canadian Mike Tyson. He came in and he was like. And he kept going. He going like bang, 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 bang. He just kept stepping to Martinez the entire fight and just standing and trading. And Martinez was trading back, and it was a hell of a fucking fight. But guess what? It's boxing, and it was ruled a draw. I'm gonna soon do. You know that scene in that one movie where it's the comic movie with that guy who they can go in as and he's like, wait, what's that? And everyone goes, oh, everyone's like, everyone across the world goes, oh no, like face palm. Oh, why? I mean, just why? Why? Like, a fight that good. I get it. It's a good fight, and guys are young. You don't want to ruin. But Lester Martinez is a good, young, 29-year-old Guatemalan fighter. He trains with fucking Bud Crawford. Bohachuk was in his corner. He fought a hell of a fight. There was clearly a world where you're giving Lester Martinez the win. Christian Mbilli fought his ass off. I mean, he got hit a little too much for me. I feel bad for Mark Ramsey. His coach, Mark Ramsey just kept saying to Christian, "Stop doing this. Stop doing this. Be defensive." And Mbilli was like, "Hey, he get in there and go, fuck it, start training." It was great how he clearly had, and I guarantee you, Dana White, and someone was like, "Hey man, Christian Mbilli is going to be a warrior, influencing the warrior or something." Because he came in there and he just kept stepping. He was just going bomb, 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 bomb. He just kept throwing massive bombs all night at Martinez. Martinez was trading back with him, and it was awesome. And after the fight, I said, man, I think Mbilli just edged it just because he was more aggressive at spots. I don't think I don't know about the punch stats. Do they say the punch stats? I'm gonna have to go look at the punch stats if they're up here. I don't know if they're up here, but let's see. Yeah, punch stats. And in terms of the rounds, like of the judges, I gotta be honest. All the rounds are hard to score. All the rounds were hard to score. I'm not blaming the judges or each judge for scoring it a certain way. Glenn Feldman scoring in a draw. Here's the thing: Glenn Feldman could have found another round to switch around. Just give it to somebody. My whole thing is, I almost view losses are better than draws because a draw, and this fight is worthy of a draw. It's okay. It's a draw. I just don't like it on this stage. It's a draw. Christian and Billy should get the win, and then him Martinez. Now they have a rematch. They have a draw instead of one guy having a win over the other, which fuels the rematch more. But thinking about it, it's okay. But it was a freaking close fight. I mean, the judges' cards, I'm looking at it right now, they're not even close. I mean, round one, almost every judge scored it round differently. The only round they all scored together was, I think, round 3 for Martinez, or I don't know who they even scored it. Who goddamn knows? It says, and Boxers, the fans scored it a draw. No fans scored it a draw. I mean, after the fight, I thought Billy won 6-4, but it was close. Split draw. I don't like it's a draw, but to be honest, I can't go. Oh, I'm like, oh, really? Why a fucking draw? I'm not surprised because it's boxing, but at the end of the day, it was a hell of a fucking fight, and either guy won in my opinion. So if this draw means that both guys won, great. Both guys won this fight because that was a hell of a fucking war, man. That fight was awesome. Okay, then next we had the highly anticipated co-main event between Callum Walsh and Fernando Vargas Jr. This fight, I think people who knew boxing, who knew how good Callum Walsh is, everyone had talked about Callum Walsh being this awesome, this great fighter. He's got Dana in his corner. Freddie Roach is his coach. He was supposed to go in there and was supposed to dominate Fernando Vargas, and he didn't. The fight was close. The judges scoring it 99-91, Dontrella 100-90, I think is ridiculous. The scorecards were bad. I do think that Callum Walsh won the fight. I think Fernando Vargas gave a hell of an effort for himself. Considering that in terms of strength of schedule, Callum had a point that in terms of strength of just schedule, he's fought in the tougher guys. He's fought in the as I mentioned, the Dean Sutherland, decent fighter. Bronowski, good overall fighter. The Emilius Absadas isn't a great fighter, but he has fought in some really good solid fighters for a number of years. Whereas when you do look at Fernando Vargas Jr., not as good of a schedule. Oh my God, Jesus. Okay, sorry, we're back. My girlfriend called me. Everyone's calling me on a Sunday right now. I got fucking the big boxing weekend review to do. So, overall, Callum Walsh won this fight. Fernando Vargas showed good ability. He showed that he is a legit good fighter, more of an athlete than an actual true level boxer, but he's very, very good, very, very solid guy. I do expect Vargas to probably be... I expect these guys to meet at some point later in their careers for a world title or something. I'm going to make a video about Callum Walsh, how he'll fare against all the guys at junior middle. He eventually wants to go up and fight guys at 160, but there's some good fighters. There's there's a. I mean, let's just take a quick. I'll go over it a little bit later, but let's just take a look right now. It's kind of funny how Boxfrick has Nick Ball as a top featherweight guy in the world. He doesn't have a world title. Kind of hilarious, isn't it? So funny. He doesn't have a goddamn world title. How the hell is he the best? Whatever. Um, but yes. What the hell, Angel Leo? Oh man, does he win that fight? Hold on. Oh no, he's fighting Sheik. Oh, he's fighting a Sheik Foster. Yeah, he's fighting a Sheik Foster for the super feather. Got it. Manuel Navarrete. Salad. Casase. Oh wow. All right. But yes, let's go to where is it? Super welterweight. Obviously, Boots Ennis is going to be fighting for the IBO world title. Is that actually what he's fighting for, or are they not fighting for? Oh, they're not. Oh, is it on the line? Huh. Interesting. Huh. So, but let's be honest. He's got a fight. You got Xander Zayas, Bud Crawford still in that division, Sebastian Fundora, Virgil Ortiz, Yusiem Lima. I don't know. Freaking Bahram Murtazaliev. You have all these important guys. But let's be honest here. As good as these guys are, you also have Tim Tszyu and other guys in the division that I just don't know right now what Callum Walsh will do against them. I just don't think he's ready. I don't think Vargas is ready for those guys either. I think Vargas could beat a couple of them. I'd like to see what happens to Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman, because I do think Callum Walsh could beat Keith Thurman. We'll see what happens, though. Yeah, good fight from those guys. Was more technical fight, but still pretty solid fight. Okay, and then obviously the main event, Canelo Alvarez, Terrence Bud Crawford. I talked about this in a separate video about the whole fight. This is more just about where they go from here. Crawford's probably going to. I don't know what he's going to do. I'll have to watch his press conference or whatever. I think Crawford's going to probably go back down to 154 or 160, or he could stay at 168. I don't know if he succeeds at 168. There's some good fighters at 168. I mean, Christian Mbilli is probably going to win. And I mean, you look at Bud Crawford. He's the WBO, WBC, IBF, WBA, Ring Magazine champions, all the titles. You have Alcides Iglesias, who is a good solid fighter. He is the IBO champion. He's a really good solid fighter. He just beat the crap out of Vladimir Shishkin, who fought Skull for the Vegan IBF title. And then you have Mahmoud is WBF champion, but that title doesn't mean crap. It's so fascinating what you do, where you go from here. It's really fun saying where you go from here, what happens, what are you going to do. It's very, very fascinating, very, very fascinating where you go and what you do from here in this position. So we'll see. We will see. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we will see how everything pans out. And then for Canelo, if you're Canelo, it's all money fights. The Hamzat Shiraz fight could happen next. I think if it happens next, I think Shiraz could win that fight. I think we'll see. I don't know. I mean, if I'm Canelo, what I do is I try to get a fight with Chris Eubank Jr. after his fight with Conor Benn. Chris Eubank Jr. is currently, he's currently the IBO, middleweight champion. Even though their first fight wasn't for that, should have been. It was a catchweight fight, I think, but it should have been. Let's see here. Okay. Got it. Sorry, I'm looking at his record here. Mighty Korlov. Poor guy. But yeah, overall, we'll see what happens. I think for Canelo, it's maybe a rematch with Liam Smith. You have Chris Eubank out there. There's a bunch of things you can do. I mean, you got Zanabek, the Amlin Corneli, who's the IBF WO guy at middleweight. Kind of funny how Carlos Adames, even though losing to Hamzat Shiraz, he was already the WC champion after being Terrell Gausha, so it's kind of funny. Julian Jet Rock Williams, poor guy, never had a chance, did he? Never had a chance. So we'll see what happens to go from here. But that's going to do it, guys, for the big boxing weekend review number 2. Great fights, great performances, some things. There was some shitties in there. There was some bloody shitties in there, but overall, I think it was a great night of boxing, and it brought everyone out. It gave greatness to like. I'll talk about the event. I think that the stuff that was normal to boxing, the big analysis, all the stars coming out, all the great boxers being interviewed, all of the media stuff, the boxing media stuff, I thought was all good. It's the performance of the event and the commentary that I have issue with. I'll make a video about that probably tomorrow. So yeah, that's going to do it for the big boxing weekend review number 2. My name is Jake. This is the final round. We'll see you guys. And remember, the greatest fighters always leave it all in the final round. I'm Christian and Billy. I'm coming for the knockout. See you guys.